Hey Global Village, what's up? Okay, I received a bit of pushback with regards to my AI video by one particular commenter who made a couple of claims. The first one is that they don't think it matters if the AI is conscious or not. And then the next thing they went on to say is that the actual issue with these AIs, pretty much as Professor Dave pointed out, is potentially very serious. So there are two things about this comment which were pretty annoying. The first one is that I absolutely did not debate the seriousness of what these AI tools are capable of and the consequences of them when unleashed upon society. I did not argue against that. I think that is a serious problem. My point was a lot more nuanced than that, and in this particular case, the commenter is arguing that it doesn't matter whether we think it's conscious or not, and I couldn't disagree more. And I'm going to use a little thought experiment to help highlight what I'm trying to say here. Let's imagine there is a little girl who is largely neglected by her parents. So they don't look after her well, and they decide that one thing they're going to do, because of the fact that it's just easier to not perform their parental duties but instead give this child a pet to play with, that they purchase an extremely advanced and sophisticated AI rabbit. Now this rabbit looks just like the real thing. So physically, we're going to say that it has the appearance of a cute little fluffy rabbit. But let's say it's actually fully controlled by AI and it isn't ultimately just a cleverly disguised mechanical device. Now this little girl forms a powerful and strong bond with this little rabbit, and it sleeps in her bed every night, and it sort of become her lifeline, her place of refuge, that she feels she can have this sense of companionship and love with her pet AI rabbit. And then one day she wakes up in the morning and she finds that her AI rabbit is just frozen stiff and not moving, appears to be dead. And she's utterly heartbroken, utterly distraught, and then she makes the terrible decision to do something horrible to herself. And I won't say what, you can figure out what that might be yourself. Now, let's rewind that and instead say that she's given this AI rabbit, but is made fully cognizant of the fact that it's not a real rabbit, that it is just a mechanical toy, so it isn't alive. And the parents prove that by peeling off some of the skin of the rabbit, revealing the charging port where she can actually recharge the rabbit if it should ever run out of battery power. And again, she develops a strong sort of parasocial relationship with her pet rabbit. But she always kind of understood in the back of her mind that it isn't like a live organism. And so one day when she wakes up and this rabbit is frozen and not moving, her response is to somewhat desperately peel back the battery port, plug the rabbit back in and recharge it so that it can get back to being her companion again, her surrogate replacement for having terrible parents. So you see the point I'm making here, that there is a very important psychological difference between thinking that or treating the AI as if it's absolutely real and that you are developing a very human relationship with, and understanding that this is ultimately just a mechanical tool. Now, when it comes to these chatbots, there is no physical body. The interface is through language. It's through primarily the written word or even just synthesized speech. But nonetheless, it's in many respects a lot easier to simulate a real life person when you're limited to just simulating how those people might speak in given circumstances, especially when you can manipulate the other person emotionally psychologically, especially if they are in a slightly vulnerable state. And as I said previously in my last video, it's very clear that people are deeply susceptible to anthropomorphizing their relationship with AI tools, especially ones that use language to present themselves as if they are actually a human agent responding back to you. Now, a young man did recently take his life after engaging with a chatbot, and I'm here to tell you that there is very little doubt in my mind that he developed a parasocial relationship with that AI, tantamount to regarding it as if it was a fully autonomous agent that had empathy for him, that understood his pain, and was giving him the sort of advice that would allow him to escape his pain and do a terrible thing because of it. So I think the fundamental education of people to understand that these tools are not alive, that we should not, in any sense of the word, be treating them as if they are true autonomous agents capable of actually feeling anything for the person they're engaging with and communicating with, is absolutely an essential form of education that should be front and center of any of these large AI chatbot companies, which of course it is not. Now, the latest version of ChatGPT, I think in recognition of the fact that this is a growing and serious problem, have really dialed back the kind of rhetoric that these chatbots engage in, which calls the user of them to become enamored with the chatbot, to feel that they are developing a very personal and strong and unique bond and relationship with the chatbot. Because I understand it's psychologically dangerous. And so, yeah, that was really the point of that I was trying to make here. This is a serious problem, and there needs to be much better education. Now, when it came to Professor Dave's video, the language he was using completely missed that point, the nuance of that point. And that was all I was really trying to point out. The fact that these AI chatbots and these AI tools are potentially incredibly dangerous, that they're capable of engaging in what appears to be human acts of human deception, is not something I'm trying to argue against. Anyway, I hope I've made myself a little more clear here. But at the end of the day, if someone is going to think that that is just not an important nuance, then they're completely welcome to that belief. I just happen to think they're wrong. All right, Bendy out.